All right, Coach. First win of the season. How big was it to get this win after last 2 days?
Well, it's good. I mean, you have to learn how to win, no matter what program it is or what team it is that you're coaching. Start of the year, so it's good to get the first one for everybody. And also, you got to learn to win in a variety of ways. Also, if you take the weekend on the whole, it's disappointing. You want to win each series, so you got to figure out how to do that. We won't have another opportunity until next weekend, but we got games Tuesday and Wednesday where we need to work to win, but we also need to work on some things and get better in some areas.
What do you say about Drew's start? It was perfect the first 11 batters, I think, and looked like he was really on it.
Yeah, he kind of calmed the storm a little bit. I mean, we needed something today, whether it be an early run or a strong pregame or good energy, you name it. But what we got was a really solid start, which is kind of the theme when he gets the ball. And he had good presence too, because they were in it. Obviously they want to win the game, and they have a little extra energy going over there. And the fact he had a calming presence, I think, affected our team.
How big was it for Blake to kind of ignite the bats there in the fourth inning with that triple?
Yeah, you're kind of waiting for something to happen sometimes on offense, and it takes two to tango. We've seen some really good pitchers. We've shot ourselves in the foot a little bit too. But when he hits a ball like that in a park this big, it gets the whole dugout inside it. It's kind of like a big dunk in basketball. It truly does shift the momentum a little bit, but you got to capitalize on it too, which fortunately we were able to do at the plate.
I think the bases were loaded. There was one out. Zach Joyce came on, back-to-back strikeouts to get Tennessee kind of out of that jam there. What can you say about him, his road coming back, and obviously his performance?
Yeah, so, I mean, if it goes well, the kids make you look smart, and that's what he did in that case, but it wasn't quite how we thought we were going to bring him in the game. And he had warmed up a bunch, but all the saga aside, he came out to the mound, and I was almost kind of ready to apologize and say, we kind of got you in a tough situation here and keep it light. Well, he came out and was laughing and kind of joking with all the guys, but clearly focused too. That's what you got to do out of the pen, is come out with a good heart rate and let your best stuff fly. And his stuff is pretty good.
What went well for you guys there in the seventh inning, blowing the game open like you did?
I think the biggest thing was just getting a couple guys on base. Cal, nothing big. I mean, he showed a big swing last night, which is great, but he got on base to start the whole thing. And then C. Scott, takes a walk where we were trying to sack the guy over or maybe even bunt for a hit. And, he took what the game gave him. So you got two guys on to start off the inning. It's usually when things go well for you.
Christian Moore, had a solo blast. It looked like he was hitting the ball pretty well throughout the weekend. How big is he at the top of your order for you guys?
It's important for him to get on base, and the fact he's so strong and will be able to drive balls for extra base hits is a bonus. But what we want is his competitiveness and his ability to get on base, and those things go hand in hand. Again, the fun or the friendly season of scrimmaging is over. There's guys out there, not literally trying to slit your throat, but there's guys out there attacking you and doing everything they can for their team to get you out, and you got to counter that with some competitiveness. And I know how the numbers are, 3 out of 10 Hall of Famer, all that good stuff, but there's different ways you can get on base, and he'll battle you tooth and nail to do that.
Griffin Merritt making his debut for you guys today. 2 questions. One, what was the decision to play him at DH instead of the outfield? And then just how tough is he being able to stay in the game after taking that hit?
Real tough. I mean, he's a really good football player in high school, like Drew Bean. He'll tell you all about it. If you've met his dad, he's just a blue-collar, man's man type of guy. So I don't think it was even a question whether he was going to come out of the game. Fortunately, it didn't catch him too flush in an area where it was a huge concern. And then that was just kind of going with the gut thing of let's ease the guy into the whole situation. And also our outfielders have become familiar a little bit with the big parks here and the environment. So maybe some consistency in the outfield. But come next 2 games, he'll have a game or 2 out there in the outfield on defense.
If you went through 5 pitchers, maybe I'm off one or the other, but the reason to get so many guys in late in this ball game here today?
I think because of Halvey and Lindsey and Doe didn't throw his best and Burns wanted to take a pitch back, but it's a deep staff and some guys threw really well, so all of a sudden the weekend's almost over and the innings are shrinking. And again, I don't want to get exposed over here and get too caught up in getting guys involved in the game, but it's not like we're bringing in weak arms. So a little bit of balance of trying to win the game with some matchups, but also, we just wanted Xander to come in and throw strikes to start the inning, which he did. And then, fortunately the way it worked out, we kept the 0 on the board, but also got several guys involved. We're always going to do that at the beginning of the year. Mabry said it to me, it's it was his freshman year when we were out there trying to make sure he gets his feet under him. And it's good for some of these guys to get that first outing out of the way.
Two more guys. Is Xander a guy that you think you can throw on the weekends and forward?
Yeah, I do, for sure. Everyone knows he can start for us. And the fact he's a year older, a little bit more mature, and is, kind of developed his off speed a little bit better. I don't see why he can't transition to a weekend starter if we need him. But also being out of the pen maybe kind of complements Kirby. Kirby and Red were the 1-2 punch down there of kind of that style of lefty last year. And Xander's as crafty as it gets, so maybe he's a compliment down there. But we're still trying to figure out what we got and what we don't have. And unfortunately, we're going home with some ideas on what we don't have or what we need to get better at. And fortunately, it's another good ball crowd, and we got them one win. But we're just as hungry as they are for more.
Speaking of the crowd, just looking at this weekend as a whole, how much different is it opening the season, in a place like this rather than just in Knoxville?
It's different. The more comfortable thing is to have a non-conference opponent at home. But we got invited to this tournament, didn't want to say no. You're coming to get warm weather, which we got after Friday night, and good competition. And, we obviously got plenty out of today, but what we got out of Grand Canyon's environment they had was tremendous. The next time we go on the road, it's going to be like that, or at least a version of it, and our kids will know what it looks like. Dylan Dreiling will know he can come in and pinch hit or even start in an environment like that and has a clear vision of it. And then on Friday, you got a big build-up of a matchup. I don't look at the rankings much, so I assume Arizona's a good ranked team. And, a big leaguer on the mound that gets you ready for what Friday night is going to be like. Typically low scoring and typically a big leaguer that you're facing in our league. And really, you could say that about most non-conference teams, too.